This show is absolutely insane and I love it. It is an emotional series filled with humour and very deep character moments. It is matched by none and its title made the head teacher of my school give me a dirty look. This video will have heavy spoilers for all of the arcs the anime and the anime movie cover. Rascal Does Not Dream follows Sakata Azusagawa going on an innocent trip to the library that ended with heavy consequences. Let's say it was heavy on his heart, and whatever actually got hit by the car. There in the library he ran into a previous child star who is now into exhibitionism, Mai Sakurajima. Let's say this meeting was also hard on her heart, and head, which was hit by the car. This leads on to Sakata confessing his love for the stated famous actor in front of his entire school to stop her from being erased from the universe. So unrealistic. If that's all it takes to woo a famous actor, I would be drowning in cash. This leads on to him finding the real Laplace's demon, a girl who thinks her friends will abandon her because they both have girlfriends. Girl who has a crush on his girlfriend, which usually would be normal as she is famous, but it's her half-sister, and his sisters. But he only has one sister. Wrong. He has a 13-year-old sister who is canonically dumb, and his 2-year-old sister who is in the body of a 15-year-old and doesn't know the meaning of blood related. If you did the maths, then you understand why she is 2, right? Then he has to deal with a sociopathic middle schooler who doesn't want to die, so she hallucinates off the meds so hard that she imagines her crush, that she hasn't met yet, dying for her, then growing up, time travelling back in time to give him advice, and then trying to steal him from his famous girlfriend, and then making her die for him, for her, in front of him. Oh my god. Then making him time travel to talk her out of it, and then jumping in front of a car and fusing with himself. And then him persuading your future current self to stop hallucinating. Did you get all of that? Because none of that was a lie, I guess. I mean, I suppose. Rascal Does Not Dream has incredible character moments. Putting aside the mild sexual harassment that Sakata commits on not his girlfriend, they are perfect. To be fair, the Peaches comment is perfect. Everything is perfect. Let's list some, shall we? Futaba not wanting to deal with Sakata, so she just messaged Mai. Sakata copying Koga's way of talking. Bennies! Kaede hiding from Futaba, Nodoka getting angry at herself, Shoko copying Sakata who's copying her who's copying him, the reporter flirting with Sakata who doesn't care, Funami biking all the way to Futaba's house, and finally Sakata's reaction to Koga's confession. Now it's serious analyst time. All of these are respectable and great moments that show character no matter how minor, and she is a minor tier, in all honesty. This show's moments are often unmatched in the genre for clear characters and their characterization. Let's pick one apart, shall we? Let's go with... honestly, there are so many I can't pick. How about 2 then? The first is the bath interaction between Sakata and Ryu Futaba, Contact's one, who is also contactless with bitches. This quick interaction shows both their characters in full, except in the light novel where they over-added lines. Her constant anxiety of being alone, expecting it and fearing it all at the same time, being on display with her constant use of his name, Sakata being completely understanding, showing his experience not only with adolescent syndrome, but with anxiety related to people over the phone. He did throw 2 phones in the ocean in the light novel. The scene expresses the stress of Ryo by it being the counter of the previous scenes where Sakata sat outside the glasses Futaba's bath and talked about her problems. There he sat down and talked to her of his own volition, and in this moment he was forced to sit down and keep her company. This going against everything her front she keeps up was trying to do. All this came from a 6-second clip. I don't even think it's 6. My god. Imagine the big one. You don't need to, because I'm going to do it right here, right now. How about we ignore the Activision Blizzard lawsuit for this one and talk about his girlfriend and his girlfriend's girlfriend slash half-sister slash favourite idol slash person who definitely did not contribute to the trauma of my dying at all. Honestly, Yellow is the worst persona I have played, so you don't get any points for that one. When they had their fight, it's honestly the most emotion you will see out of Mai at any point in time. Not saying she is unemotional, but she can normally keep herself together. Nodoka reacting in the way she does is fair. She is the half-sister of a famous actor and model, and she is the child of a jealous mother who is still trying to compete with a woman who stopped caring a decade ago. Nodoka having to deal with all that while she was not only competition, but someone she looked up to, is completely justified. Mai just wanted to vent, to match her sister's ferocity. Of course she felt that way as well, but she didn't feel it as much. Much like her sister, they both loved each other quite a lot, and the fact they barely got to hang out before this incident proved this point through and through. They didn't get to talk their emotions through, and the scene was heavy because of that fact. Maybe if they stayed fighting, Nodoka might not have... What am I kidding? She's a sis gone. Imagine being down bad for a slap. Couldn't be me. The characters are nothing to scoff at. We obviously ignore HR's least favourite person and Giguk represented as an amnesiac teen girl, but we also have a girl who tried to compete with Zentai in anime form. The girl who doesn't like her friend and likes the other one a little too much. Citra's side character, Doctor Who if he killed his crush, then his crush's famous girlfriend, and was also a middle schooler with heart disease. Doesn't he have 2 hearts? We also have the main character with almost no screen time and younger version of Lolly Doctor Who. The characters far surpass what I give them credit for. Obviously I can't do a full character analysis for a single section in this video, but I can do slight analysis. Let's pick the character I haven't talked about. So Forgotten Love Life character is out. Koga is quite the choice, but her book makes me look like a nonce, so I don't own it. Let's talk about the walking aneurysm slash causer of microdose of Hillsborough the year that the Game Boy came out. Shoko Makinohara is the weirdest case of character analysis because she is largely, if not completely, unconnected from the main cast. Yes, she interacts with our average British drunk lad who just saw an underage girl, but her adolescent syndrome is unconnected. She literally dreamed up their meeting, so there really shouldn't be any reason for them to meet, also for him to exist. But most of her character nuance is from her interactions with her. You understand that she is scared, she knows that all of what is happening is a dream, she knows that but she's still a child. No matter how many years she lived through in her dream, she won't stop being a child. This is shown by her role model being Sakata. Someone who had to deal with his sister problem all by himself and fully come to understand what Shoko ends up saying in her scenes. She idolizes her crush, even past his dommy mummy dream turned aggressive. But the true thing that shows her childishness is her love for Mai and Sakata's fights. She enjoys the conflict of them, she finds it funny. Not only does that show that she's still a child, but it also shows her growth. Her timeline as a character is incredibly confusing, but that is her in the middle of her story. Her younger self would have acted completely different if Mai and Sakata had a fight in front of her, and in fact she has. Who knew the most awkward scene in the series that didn't make it into the anime would be so important? Her cracking jokes and matching Sakata's energy shows that she became exactly what she wanted, because she obviously wouldn't have known about Sakata's ability to be empathetic during moments like that. Either that or she wanted him so bad. My god, she was down bad. So all of that for what? What does this paragraph mean to this video? Well, it shows that the characters are complex and beautifully crafted to make you understand them and empathize with them. Shoko is a character who goes through arcs mostly off screen and we still empathize and enjoy her as is. This is true for most of the characters. Very lovable. So what's next? Oh yeah. This fucking show is batshit insane. It isn't Baki, but it is Bunny Girl Senpai. We have a time travel plot that involves finally getting negative hours of sleep, at least it's sleep, and a friend that somehow understands the plot to the anime, and also reverse bunny girl outfits. There's a whole arc about a girl disappearing because people at her high school ignore her. A girl gains the power to see into the future as far as she wants, and she uses it to escape getting asked out and then try to steal a boy from the anime version of Willem Dafoe. Another girl accidentally duplicates herself by posting onto OnlyFans, and instead of persuading her crush to go out with her by having a threesome with her, she uses it to cry and eat pot noodles at 2 different places at once. This girl loses her memory and uses it to try and fuck her brother and skip school for 2 years. A middle schooler gets the power to create and destroy realities where she has the power to time travel, and she uses it to try and fuck a guy. Her favourite Hololive candidate ends up looking like her sister and definitely let her fellow idols hit. I mean, I would. Honestly, this show has impeccable concept every time it brings a new one onto the table. Sakata is lame compared to the other ones. Like, he gets some cuts on his chest whenever a certain horny girl comes near him, and what does he use it for? An excuse for me to say the same joke again in 2 different departments. Yeah, he uses it to commit old man walking around in suspiciously large trench coat to my, and also to flirt with Latin American weather ladies. Oh, and his sister is weak to electric or something, and I don't know, was she a steel type? I started this rant by talking about a scene. I think a couple need to be mentioned, but I think with how I'm going to edit this scene in particular, I think I'll leave it at that. So, into serious time. Why is this one experience instead of read? Well, as you may have noticed, this one I have mentioned both the anime and the light novel. This video has gone through many scripts, but the idea of an overly edited video felt real to me. It felt cool. So I had a style in mind. A mix between maxor and Giguk, with my style mixed in there for good measure. But the biggest change came from me reading the light novel. I don't think it was a scene, more of an epiphany. The light novel is great, but the anime does so many things better. It has music that defines and fits the series perfectly. It changes some bad lines, like in the Azasagawa Yes scene, or even the Do You Want to Kiss scene. It felt like the anime did so much for the feel of the series, and that it would be unjustified for me to say read or watch when they are both such a massive part in the feelings I feel for it. The anime has all the feelings in the light novel, ever so slightly watered down. But for every drop of water, as scenes like the Do You Want to Kiss scene, for every Kunami line cut, it has lines to make Koga's scene hit better. To be fair, I haven't read her book, but I believe there is probably a line from Sakata or any other character that ruins their character ever so slightly. Like, it's always just one line. The more recent books are slightly better at that. I don't understand how anyone can get outdone by the anime writing team at their own character, but it happened. But I'm gonna be brutally honest. The anime does a great job at making you feel all the pain that Sakata's feeling and suffering he's feeling towards his sister's memory returnal. But the light novel does it way better. In the anime, you can't just show Sakata's feelings without having an eternal monologue, but in the light novel, it's never out of place. There's so many words, and it's just absolutely perfect. It makes every emotion hit more, and you're like, oh, that gets rid of the shown don't tell aspect, but it still sticks to the shown or don't tell. It's not outright telling you, but I would rant about that scene, honestly, but I don't have the time. But yeah, I do, but like, no. Rascal Does Not Dream is an experience, and I would wish you all to experience it in any and all ways possible to you. Thank you for watching it, and if you feel like you should like and subscribe. Goodbye. Lex, you give off some of the biggest cracker energy I have ever seen.